All right, this is the band Soap, and I'm really excited to be interviewing them here today. This is Charles from an interview that I've already done. Charles, do you want to introduce everybody?
This is Callum Dingley. He plays bass and stuff. This is Sam Fedor. Plays drums and stuff.
Hi everyone.
This is Quinn Shumway. He plays guitar and stuff.
Hey guys. So, what a lovely, lovely afternoon and a beautiful spot here on the porch to be conducting this interview. And you guys just barely are coming off of a show from the pizza.
Wild Pepper Pizza.
Wild Pepper Pizza.
Boy, was it wild.
Yeah, no, there was a really good showing there, actually.
Yeah.
Like quite a few people, and it's kind of a cool place. The management is really nice and stuff, and yeah. So anyway, Callum,
Yes.
tell me about yourself, because we're actually at your home right now.
Yes.
So let's start with you.
I mean, for starters, with the home, this is our practice space. Also, where we've recorded a lot of our second album. You know, we've got space to record drums, which was something I was very excited about doing. You know, especially coming from the first album where it was all digital.
Mm-hmm.
But a little bit more about myself. I played the bass. You know, I've never taken lessons as a bassist. I took lessons as a guitarist, but you know, could play the bass, and that's kind of how I got my start in Soap.
So you're a little bit kind of self-taught on the bass, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
and it definitely, you know, my background as a rhythm guitarist definitely shows in the way I play. You know, I play with a pick. You know, that's a big sign of a guitarist, and also
Wow.
just kind of, you know, the rhythms I incorporate into my bass playing.
That's really cool. So, like, can you do things using a pick that ordinarily, like, because if they didn't learn how to do it with a pick, then they're maybe not quite as, like, because there's muscle memory kind of issues and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Like, it sounds just a little bit different, kind of unique.
Yeah, I think a lot of my playing definitely utilizes the pick, and it could be done without the pick if you're good enough. But I definitely couldn't do some of the, you know, the faster note changes or whatever without being able to pick the strings instead of using my fingers.
Nice. And then we have Charles on, well, describe your official title.
I think I touched it. It's a very hot day out here. My
Yes.
official title, what does that mean?
Well, in the band. Okay, so
Well, I guess I'm a rhythm guitarist and vocalist.
and vocalist.
Yeah.
Does anyone else do vocals? Like, I haven't.
I've done some vocals before. In our last cycle of shows, which was kind of spring 2021, there were a few songs where I would sing backup vocals,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a couple of songs that we've released where I'm singing,
Mm-hmm.
and I've written a couple for the band, and but the main songwriting contributor is Charles, and right now in these summer sets that we're doing at the moment, I'm not doing any singing, just guitar.
And where you're kind of positioned on stage, you're also kind of like the unofficial dancer, sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like get into it.
So yeah, Ryan got some videos of me dancing at the Wild Pepper show, and that's fun. Yeah, a lot of times when I'm playing lead guitar, there's times when I'm not playing, so I can just kind of vibe around a little bit.
It's fun for the audience to see, because like what you're doing on stage totally like translates into like their perception of what's going on and stuff, and just like when you're having fun up on the stage, it totally just like it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's like contagious.
Yeah.
It's contagious for the audience.
I hope it is.
Yeah,
hope so.
definitely. Well, I've
We
had
feed off of each other's energy.
I had a lot of fun watching that, and Sam here is just visiting for the summer. Well, he's back for the summer.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't really say visiting, but you're home for the summer.
Exactly.
And because you're going to Gonzaga, right?
Up in Spokane, Washington.
And
Yeah.
that's pretty awesome. That's like a really famous school.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
And you're
For
studying
sure.
journalism.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed.
And do you want to, though, also like kind of pursue music, kind of see where that goes?
Yeah, it's actually been a lot of fun. I've had the opportunities to play in their jazz ensemble up there, as well as with a jazz combo. So it's definitely made me a better player. I think we can all attest to learning styles of music like jazz and classical music sort of feed into your skill as a contemporary musician as well. It's also been a nice opportunity to be a part of a different musical community than the one that we've all come up on here in Salt Lake. Yeah, it's been fun to get a little bit of perspective.
You're getting exposed to some different influences.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like up there and stuff. And that's kind of like a religious school, right?
It is. It's a Jesuit school.
And how does that affect, I don't know, like the atmosphere?
It's not particularly noticeable, just outside of the fact that there are Jesuits and a large cathedral on campus.
Okay.
But they're cool guys. You know, I can hang out with them for sure. They're in fact, a lot of them are really interesting people with really cool stories.
That's cool. Well, I mean, it's kind of like here in Utah, obviously, like people that aren't too familiar with Mormons, they might think that they're like completely different. But for the most part, though, like they're not really that different. Like they don't have horns and stuff. Is like that was one of the rumors that used to go around is Mormons had horns or something.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
that was
interesting.
like
I didn't know that.
well, that was back in the day. Like I think that was pre-internet because after the internet came out, then like people started to
and you could actually see a picture of a
Easier
Mormon.
to fact check.
Yeah.
And you and you could actually now you guys are all like post-internet, right? Like or do any of you remember a time when there was no internet?
Not no internet, but I think all of us probably we're all like can all remember back to the point when the only like
It's like a
technology stuff would be like a single like family computer or something. It's like we're that old, but we're not like
We're
not like
cutting edge.
pre-technology or anything.
Yeah.
So you do remember
Yeah.
you do remember computers, like you don't remember like a time before computers, calculators and stuff like that. Although this porch actually is kind of reminiscent to me of like old time kind of like almost like southern, because like a long time ago I served a mission down in Atlanta, Georgia, and this style of porch kind of reminds me of what you'd see in some of the homes that are kind of like on the outskirts and stuff in some of those areas.
Yeah.
Where it's got a little bit of that kind of, I mean, it's not exclusively a southern kind of style or whatever.
Yeah.
But how long have you lived here?
7 years.
7 years. Where did you live before that?
Oh, I live down in the Liberty Wells area, kind of closer to downtown Salt Lake.
Yeah.
Closer to Charles. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. You were mentioning that before. You
Yeah.
were mentioning that a little bit earlier. That well, you were pretty lucky to get to live close to Charles, even though I don't know if you knew him at the time.
I knew of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'd heard
Got a
of each other.
reputation.
Well, how could anyone not know of Charles? He's just like this. He's just like this figure that's just always. Even 7 years ago, he was just like this figure.
Arguably more so back then.
More so.
Famous or infamous?
Ooh, well, there's a fine line between the two, right? I mean, because people that are infamous are technically famous, right? It's like it falls under the umbrella of fame, but they're not necessarily mutually exclusive.
I don't know if I'd call any of us or even Soap famous. I mean, we've got like, people listen to our music, but you know, we're not.
A few people.
Yeah, exactly. A few
couple
people.
people here and there.
Yeah, our friends. You know.
Yeah. What's your favorite song? Do each of you have like a favorite Soap song? Like,
Oh boy.
I could come up with one.
well, I know recent because the older ones are probably like more sentimental, right? Like when you got started and you probably look back fondly with them. But now you guys have grown as artists, right? Quite a bit.
Yeah.
And so now your music has kind of reached a new level, especially with Charles freaking going to like Berkeley College of Music, studying all the fancy like notes and all the fancy like I don't even know the terminology to use because it's so fancy. I don't even know the terminology to describe what it would be. Like what how would you describe your curriculum there at the Berkeley College of Music?
Well, at its most basic, it's jazz harmony. It's a jazz school, but there's so much more to do than that in terms of like what you want to study, what your degree will be in, so you can learn music production, composition, all rooted in those early skills that you learn in your first or second year.
Well, and you were talking to me just recently about how I don't remember the name that you said goes with it, but like when you sing a note and then like you sort of repeat it, but then you sing it a slightly different like a note below or something like
Oh
that?
yeah, we had a short discussion about chromaticism.
Chromaticism.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Which you explain, you know, it's like in Western harmony, the smallest distance between notes is one semitone, or a twelfth of an octave. So, da 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 da. Like you can't. I mean, the notes in between those are not included in Western harmony. And chromaticism is just using those notes placed very close to each other in rapid succession to create kind of an effect, a compositional effect.
That's cool. So, see, people watching this interview are like learning what they teach at Berklee, and they don't even have to pay for it. It's just like they're getting a free education from Charles here as he passes on his knowledge.
Could have a career.
Yes.
I believe we were talking about that Slip Up song when that came up.
I know it.
Yeah.
I know it.
Well, it's because yeah, it's like the. Well, I know it. One note down.
One
That's
note down, yeah.
chromaticism. Even that is.
No, no. I see. I don't. I can't. I'm probably singing the notes completely wrong because I don't sing. Like I can't even come close to like even identifying the right note. But okay. So both of you guys are technically out of staters now. You're just back for.
Yeah, Quintu.
Oh wait. Now hold on a second. You're not living here currently?
No, I go to college in
Oh, that's right.
the Chicago area. Yeah.
That's right. So you got okay. All right. So all three of you guys, all of the couch sitters here, the couch crew.
Yeah.
All three of you guys, actually live out of state. And then how long are you guys here for? Because you guys are like reunited as a band while you're here.
So we're here for until late August or early September, depending on which one of us it is.
Yeah.
And luckily, we have worked really hard to get like a set of shows to for this summer, and luckily we've been successful enough to have like 4 or 5 pretty good shows lined up during the time that we're here. So it's pretty short, but it's enough time that we're able to have kind of a summer era of the band.
And then also kind of recording, right? Doing some little bit of recording, maybe?
That's kind of
What
to
was
be confirmed, I'd say.
Okay.
Well, it's gonna happen, but it has not started. That's how I'd put it.
Okay. It hasn't started yet. So continuing with now drums here, we got Sam on the drums, and I watched you perform for the first time live the other day at the Wild Pepper Pizza, and it was really impressive. It's just fun watching
Thank you.
like drummers in general, but then also like the way you were like getting into it and stuff. You know, like okay, what got you into drums as your musical instrument?
That's a great question. I guess it would have been band in 4th grade, like band class in school. Nobody else wanted to play them, and I
Really?
decided I would go for it.
By default.
Yeah, pretty much. I had a good family friend who was a drum teacher, so I picked that up. Started playing rock and roll with an after-school music program a few years later. Started a band with some friends from that program. We played a lot of festivals, that sort of thing. I started playing with the Utah Blues Society for a number of years, and that was a great opportunity. But I think Soap has definitely been the most fun I've ever had playing drums, just because the kind of music we're playing is a lot easier to get into. It's a lot easier to get animated, and I think it's the kind of music that you're not going to be seeing like at festivals or at, I mean, it's not, covers, it's music that we write to perform, and I think it's a lot of fun to have people come to shows with the specific intention of seeing us play, because then it's a lot easier for the audience to engage with our music, and in turn it's a lot easier for us to engage with the audience and to feed off of that energy. So I don't know, Soap has been really special in that regard. It's just a lot more fun than anything else I've ever done, musically speaking.
Nice. And that reminds me now, speaking of Soap, like Charles said in my interview with him before that the name for Soap kind of started with the fact that you back in like, I don't know, sophomore or junior year or something like that, you were interested in like bands with like one word names.
I think that it wasn't really anything too profound. It was just like those names at the time appealed to me, and I just thought of one of my own.
The name Soap.
So yeah, it just, I don't know. I've had some periods of time where I wish I could go back in time and change it, but it is what it is. It's our band name and it's special. But yeah, at the time I wasn't too interested in having like a long band name or something like clever.
It's just something that's just
something
like
simple.
just like catchy, to the point. It like makes people wonder, like, oh, I wonder why they're called that, or something.
I guess so. Yeah, it's kind of quirky, but not like, I don't know. I didn't want to be called like Charles Franta and the whatever it is. Yeah.
Was that? Did I ever want
So
it?
that's,
No, you never
so that's
wanted
the
that,
real
but-
reason.
No, he never wanted that, but
It's not half bad.
I didn't want something like
Right.
longer like that or whatever.
So was it
Yeah.
was it by limiting it to one word, that was your kind of secret way of making sure that it didn't start Charles Franta and the,
That
because,
was
like,
never an
that was-
idea. I'm just using
Just
that
helps
as
No,
an
I'm just
Sell
kidding.
it on t-shirts.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, that's pretty cool. So Charles was telling me that to him, he was thinking of like soap opera as like, you know, the word soap, expanding out to like soap opera. What were you thinking of with the word soap?
I was just thinking of like the product that you use on your hands, like it's just like whatever. It's just like kind of dumb and like it's just a band name. Like
Well, the two ideas are actually kind of linked together, because I was talking with Charles about soap operas got their names from the fact that they were like originally they were radio broadcasts, and they were geared towards like housewives that were at home cleaning while listening to the soap opera on the radio. And then they became sponsored by like these cleaning products, and so then that's why people would start referring to them as soap operas
oh, okay.
instead of just as like radio dramas or whatever they were called before that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's cool. I never knew that history either. Yeah.
And so yeah, so I mean, you guys might not have realized that, but it just kind of like, yeah. So you two weren't directly involved in the naming of the band.
No, I guess not. But we sure get asked pretty often, at least I do, what soap means.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know. It means us now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like-
yeah.
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, maybe it's a good thing that it generates some intrigue, because it's kind of
It's memorable.
meaningless, and there isn't really like a definitive story behind it. But it's just what we are. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's not some story like some rabbit that wants to get soap, kind of like the Trix Bunny or something, but you never give him soap because he really wants to clean. You don't have like some backstory like that.
No, but
You
we
could
should
come up with
ask
some.
them about that.
We should
We
definitely
could
make
make
up a
one up, right?
backstory.
You should, yes.
We should like tell people a different backstory every time they ask.
Remember when you guys wanted me to
Ooh,
read
that's a
soap
good idea.
facts at our shows?
You get like some
Oh,
soap,
that's like
soap
some old
trivia.
memory.
Yeah.
wow.
You guys could.
Aren't you glad that I never did that?
Beehive 2020 or something.
Yeah.
You guys should come up with like a dozen different versions of how you got the name and tell them to different people, and then one day just have like a soap trivia, like, okay, who can tell us how we got our name? Then everyone's hand goes up, and then you're just like everyone's coming up with different ideas and stuff.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
What was your first initial impression when you found out about like the name? Like, what was your impression of the name?
I thought it was cool. I mean, I definitely, like, if I had to come up with a band name, I definitely couldn't do any better. So I think just having something intriguing and, concise just definitely interested me. And, I like the name. I like it to this day. I do have to wonder, Quinn, you say that, some days you do wish you could change the name. What would you change it to?
Well, I like Charles's original idea, which was Flyway. It's a pretty cool band name.
That's
is a pretty
still
cool band
that's still
name.
bouncing around. I still
Yeah.
want to have a band called Flyway someday.
So okay, yeah.
It's
So
like it's like my noise project. as of
because you
now,
have an
but
Instagram with that name, right?
It turned into like my Finsta.
You kind of use that as like your spam account.
Yeah, stuff that's not suitable for the public.
And you don't mean that in like a bad way, right? Like, this is like my.
It depends.
Okay, so then, so Charles, and Quinn knew each other from high school.
Yeah.
And then, how did you guys all meet up and become?
So I guess I joined after the two of them had started the band, and I guess you guys had played a show, right, in Charles' garage?
Yeah,
That was
not
before.
under
That was-
not under the band name.
No,
Oh.
you don't recognize that was
No,
pre-sub.
Sam has been with us since the very beginning of being this band.
Yeah.
But Charles and I played music together as like
A
with the
duo?
intentions of being a thing for a few months before Sam came. But we met Sam through another drummer who played with us for a little bit, and it didn't work out. And then he knew Sam from school.
Okay.
Is that right? Am I
Yeah.
telling that right?
No, the way I remember it is you guys had a show lined up, and he kind of bailed.
Oh,
He's
that's
out of
right.
town.
That's
Oh,
right.
I didn't
You guys
remember. I
needed
thought you
a
were just
replacement.
euphemizing it. But no, that is what happened.
Well, I mean, yeah, no,
Oh yeah, that was one of our first big
I mean,
dramatic
credit to
days.
him,
Was when the
but-
drummer dropped out.
but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
It was a
I'm
blessing
not
in
First of
complaining,
many.
But
Yeah.
no, I don't think I ever planned on being with the band for more than that one gig,
Mhm.
and I don't think any of us really did. But then
No.
we got offered another, and I guess the rest
Things
is
kind of
history,
took off like really quickly for some reason. Like in the first couple months, we had like
Like I'll just click it
a couple of shows that ended up being really successful at like pretty nice venues around Salt Lake. So
Well, then we got Callum shortly thereafter. I think we only
Yeah.
played one or two shows without Callum with Charles on.
Okay,
Two,
so
yeah.
I'll let you tell the story.
Okay, yeah. So I'd known Charles from being around the neighborhood as young children, and Quinn from middle
As
school.
the infamous / famous.
Yeah, and then I just I didn't have contact with them, and then in high school I remember just seeing around their Instagram that they started a project, and definitely gathered some interest. And the real reason I wanted to hop on is just because my girlfriend was interested in the band, and I really wanted to impress her. So
I didn't know
I was
that.
like,
Yeah,
that would
wow.
be.
Oh, wow.
Hey,
No
we got little
way.
info coming out in this interview here.
That's
This is
really
a-
cute.
this-
Yeah,
well,
so
it worked out.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
going to, I think it was only their second show when it was just the three of them. Just to, I'd been in,
It was
slight
our first
talks
show.
with Charles.
Yeah, it was the diabolical one. You were there.
Oh yeah, that was the first one.
Wow.
Yeah, that was our first
Okay.
show.
Yeah, first show, because I'd been in talks with Charles about, I know he floated around the idea of getting a bass player, and I was like, I can do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I went and checked it out, and then yeah, I just kind of hopped on board. So pretty early, but not the start. Definitely, the latest member.
So is that just kind of like a feature of your personality in general, of just like something where you kind of, I don't want to use the word improvise, but like you're self-taught, or there's like a word for that, where maybe not self-taught what was your process exactly of transitioning? Was it just like
Into the bass, yeah, it was kind of just, I played the guitar and the bass strings, it's just the top 4 strings of a guitar, so
It is.
it pretty much just translates over.
No, I'm just kidding. It's real.
Yeah.
Okay, so see, I don't know a whole lot about like guitar playing and stuff, but so the bass is almost like a under the umbrella of like
Yeah,
guitar?
pretty.
It's actually, yeah, since it's tuned the same way, just an octave lower, it's like what's going on. If you play guitar, what's going on with bass, more or less. Just a matter of figuring out the differences in, like, I guess your right hand, what your right hand's doing.
Different techniques though,
Yeah.
because the strings are different, the size of the instrument is different, the way that you hold it is probably a little bit different, and the plucking is going to be different because it's physically has different demands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Having much bigger strings and also you want to get a different sound than you would on a guitar because it's not as much it's not a melodic or chordal instrument. It actually serves an entirely different purpose from a guitar, but it's the same notes, which is kind of interesting.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny that like because you're standing up now, and the last time that the audience would have seen you were like sitting down, but it's just kind of fun. It reminds me of
It's a bit hot out here. I was actually just trying to get some shade. It's like 99 degrees.
Okay, so you're
Yeah.
getting some shade there, but no, it reminds me of like I saw some study that showed that like if people are watching a video or whatever and someone changes their shirt while they're off screen, people usually won't notice. They won't
Yeah.
notice that like the shirt has changed, or they won't
really?
notice.
Quick
Now,
calendar
obviously,
change.
with you standing up, they'll probably notice that.
Yeah, they'll probably notice that.
But it would be funny.
Continuity or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be funny since like you guys like get off screen routinely to like while I'm interviewing you, for example, for them to all like change their position or something.
That'd be
And
funny,
just,
yeah.
just keep repeatedly doing that throughout the whole interview. But shoot, didn't think of it in time. But okay, so what is next for Soap? like you're going to pack as much as you can into the summer, right?
Yeah.
And then after that, just kind of just ride that wave until you guys reunite again.
I feel like we're kind of taking it one step at a time.
True. I was thinking that I think the odds of us being able to do something winter break are pretty high if we book shows like at the end of the summer for winter.
Okay.
We'll
Good.
probably all be
I
back
agree.
here, so
I agree.
Because you can do a lot of that planning. You don't have to be home to do that.
Yeah, definitely.
may as well just we'll probably have a couple shows this winter if not, you know.
Yeah, and then I mean, you do have like a contact. Like, I mean, you have one of you guys is like grounded here, so you're still anchored here, right?
We have a man on the inside.
Yeah,
Yes,
we're
you
still Salt Lake City based.
Yes,
We're still based.
that's right. You can legally claim that the band has never left.
Send our fan mail to Callum's house.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Okay, well, you guys, can you believe that this has been going for 25 minutes already?
I believe it.
How crazy! You're like, I believe
kinda-
that,
it's
man.
kinda hot
This
out
feels
here.
like it's been
Yeah.
2 hours.
No, you're
And he-
great, Ryan. I'm just playing with you.
Yeah, no, you're fine. All right. Well, is there anything else that you guys want to like delve into at all before we wrap it up?
We should probably plug a
August
show or
10th,
two.
Kilby Court. August 17th or 18th, can't remember, at Valor.
18th.
18th at Valor in Provo. And then the
August
21st.
21st or 22nd?
The 21st
21st.
at the Beehive.
Cool.
Yep.